Good evening. Campaigners battling the government over the controversial high-speed rail line between London and Birmingham say their fight goes on. That's despite the project being given the go-ahead by the government this afternoon. Well, changes announced will include a longer tunnel at Chipping Warden on the border between Northamptonshire and Oxfordshire. It's also claimed significant changes have been made to protect ancient woodland. But the move hasn't altered the view of 18 local councils, including Buckinghamshire and Northamptonshire, who've dubbed the proposals flawed. We can cross live to our reporter James Ingham, who's in the village of Great Missenden for us tonight. James.
Well, today's announcement has been greeted with fury here in the Chilterns. People living in towns and villages across the route have long campaigned against HS2. They're very concerned about the damage that they say it will do to beautiful countryside, including the area of outstanding national beauty here. They're also very concerned, very sceptical about claims that it will bring wider economic benefits to the rest of the country, saying simply that this is a vanity project that the country cannot afford.
Is this coffee against HS2?
Yes, it is.
Coffee's against HS2, one business's contribution to the fight.
I would love to have a coffee.
At this cafe in Wendover, coffee drinking customers have donated thousands to help the campaign.
The fight's only just beginning. What's happened before this has just been, well, it's been a consultation period apparently. No one's been consulted about anything. We've had a plan slapped on us, which has now been officially approved. And I think people are really up for a fight now. They're really up to beat this bad decision.
I don't think it matters where they put HS2. A country the size of Great Britain doesn't need high-speed rail. We need better railway networks that are existing, not high-speed.
To rip up the Chilterns and the countryside for a world that is effectively bust at the moment is ridiculous.
The impact continues north of the Chilterns, where the line runs through more of our countryside. I'm standing on the outskirts of Chipping Warden in South Northamptonshire, right above where the line will run through a tunnel. It emerges just a couple of metres away in the field behind me. But for anybody living close by, you can see the impact is huge.
It comes from just over there where there's a dip on the crest of the horizon, cuts through the trees.
Stephen Allen's house is just 20 feet from the proposed line. He's not sure yet if or how he'll be compensated.
The government have taken the decision that HS2 will proceed, be it right or wrong, but the reality of it is now that what we and other householders, I guess, impacted by this are looking for is suitable recompense, and the last thing we want to be is in any way out of pocket.
Today, communities along the line have been gathering to discuss their next move.
Did you fight to save this England? Did you stop the HS2?
People are losing jobs, hospitals are closing, kids can't have books in school, no teachers, no policemen, no nurses. What in hell is the government doing?
Well, one famous face there here in Great Missenden, but there are many people here who've come together today to listen to the announcement of the government and get together to discuss how they're going to continue to fight these plans. Well, with me now is Martin Tett, who is the leader of Buckinghamshire County Council and representing several councils along the route who are vowing to fight these plans. Tell us, what is your next move?
Well, I represent 51M, that's 18 local authorities along the route who've come together to really review these proposals and to challenge them as well. I mean, fundamentally, as local authorities, we're very used to the fact that we have to take quite often difficult, controversial decisions. And if this was really in the national interest and had a really good business case, I think we'd be supporting it. But the reality is almost every independent observer who's reviewed this has recognised it's an incredibly poor business case. And when you're talking about spending £32 billion worth of your money, my money, and the money of everybody watching this programme, you have to really get good value for money. There are much better alternatives to this, much cheaper, that could do a lot more for the British economy.
And just in a sentence, are you convinced that councils can beat the government?
Well, the business case is not just bad, it's actually got worse with the announcement today. And we think we can get that message through to MPs, to the House of Lords, and we can win the argument.
Martin Tett, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Well, fighting words there. Councils here, people, residents in villages across the route through our region, adamant that they will win.
James Ingham in Great Missenden, thanks very much indeed. Well, record producer Pete Waterman has been a high-profile supporter of the high-speed rail line. He told me he was delighted it will go ahead.
It's been needed for over 60 years and at some point we had to bite the bullet. Let's just hope that we don't have to wait the full 13 years before we move forward. Let's get on with it now.
Wouldn't it have been better to improve the road infrastructure or maybe local trains that would benefit this part of the world?
No. You know, and I understand Oxford's interest, but there is other parts of Britain, and unfortunately for Oxford and Oxfordshire and Chilterns, the railway has to go through there to get to us in the north of England and the Midlands. Unfortunately, that's just the way that, you know, the land lies.
Do you accept then that there are no tangible benefits to the people whose area is going to be scarred by this?
No, there are no tangible efforts in the immediate vicinities of some of these routes. That's not what it's about. It's for the benefit of Britain, not just one community. Although, you know, people from Oxford could jump on the train to Birmingham and be in Manchester a lot quicker than you can currently do it now. So yeah, there are that benefits. But if you're asking a blunt question, the answer is no. There is no, at this moment as we sit here, I can't justify this to people watching this programme tonight for Bucks and Oxfordshire and the Chilterns.
You have sympathy for the people who are complaining about this?
Of course I do, but I think that, you know, we started the railways in 1835. We started the motorways in 1958-59. We've built motorways even through Oxfordshire and through Buckinghamshire, yet we haven't built modern railways. So, you know, at some point we had to update the system. It's past its sell-by date. We're the only country in the world with a third world railway system, really. That's the truth.
OK, Pete Waterman, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Pleasure.